Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit of the WoW podcast, Blue Please on CynicalBrit.com. When we last saw Volzane, the RP troll, he was chilling out at the Krongar Fortress, and we just got ourselves a promotion to Sergeant, and many more quests to start with. Now, you know I wanted that flamethrower? Well, we get it. Isn't it wonderful? Oh yes, exciting stuff, and there's a couple of other quests we can pick up here as well. There's a big bunch of them that's going to take us a little bit of time to get cleared. I'm going to kill a marshal for the spy mistress. And we also have to speak to the quartermaster. This is what I was talking about earlier. When you get sergeant, you get access to some stuff. Yeah, and obviously it depends on the rank that you have within this particular zone as to the gear you got access to. Right now, I can buy these boots. And there are some reasonable boots, actually, for my particular purposes. So I'm going to grab something from here. The hide boots right there. Those ones look nice. There's your enhancement shaman boots. I'm going to nail those, I think. Nice to get a little bit of crit. And it is a small upgrade on what I've currently got. I was actually quite surprised by the fact that the first few quests don't give upgrades compared to what I had already, which is kind of weird. A lot of the stuff that I've got are either green quest rewards or simply green drops around that level, so it is incredibly odd that the gear wouldn't significantly be better. Yeah, this is interesting. This is a really fun quest. I will show you it at the end of this video, don't worry. Speak to this creepy blood elf child. In the meantime, we have things to do, people to see, and we will deal with this nonsense a little bit later on, as that giant robot powers down the hill, flamethrower in hand. Yeah, you get to ride it, don't worry, and it is actually way more enjoyable than you would think. You often get quests like this that are... They look great, but they're not all that fun. Like, say, the day Deathwing came, people rave on about that quest. That quest is actually really boring. It looks amazing, but in reality, when you're actually playing it, there's very little to do. It's incredibly dull. The robot quest, on the other hand, that we get here is fantastic. In the meantime, what you have here, it appears to be a repeatable quest, as far as I can tell. It looks like a daily, or maybe you can just repeat it over and over again. I'm not 100% sure. I'll try in the next video for that. It's just to kill 20 Alliance soldiers of any description. Doesn't really seem to matter who. Heck, it might even apply to PvP targets, but there weren't any PvP targets around here to actually attack. A little bit of a shame. I was surprised by how empty this zone is, and then I was also surprised by this and very disappointed. That is my flamethrower. Actually, it isn't, obviously. It's been replaced. There was some kind of mistake. This, I believe, comes from the Undead Armories. It's a plague thrower, which is no use at all and no fun. Why don't I get a proper flamethrower? What the hell's going on with this? I don't know if it's bugged or whatever, but I'd appreciate it if it didn't look like I was spraying some kind of fine chemical cleaning mist on the Alliance. I can spin around, isn't it great? And you're going to argue and say, oh, well, it's Fell Flame. It's not Fell Flame. Look at it. It's like bloody Glade air freshener. In the meantime, we'll do some slaughtering to take my anguish out on these guys. Now, you can do so much damage with the enhancement shaman at this level. It's not really funny. I mean, I do have some fairly good weapons. The one that I've got in my main hand is a level 25 blue, so you would expect it to be good. And then I've got a level 20, I think, in my offhand in the form of the Razor's Edge. It's not ideal. It's a little bit slow, actually, in the offhand, and you want a fast offhand, so... It's not too great, but I'm sure we'll find an alternative going forward in the not-too-distant future. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now, all of the quests that you've just been given can pretty much be done in this area with the exception of a couple of pieces of Dream of a Better Tomorrow. Every part of that quest references Bioshock in some way, if you hadn't already guessed. You have to repair the Large Daddy. The name of the quest is Dream of a Better Tomorrow. Yeah. And also, I might point out that the name of the war apparatus right there is BD, i.e. Big Daddy. You might think, well, that's incredibly obvious, TotalBiscuit herp-de-derp. Well, did you also know that 816 is the article number of the IGN walkthrough for Bioshock? You probably didn't, but there you go. They hide these little references everywhere, and it is a delight, I must say. There's a lot more as we go through the quest as well. It's just freaking wonderful. Talking about, like, will you be our angel? It's like, oh, please. It's just lay it on me, man. Lay it on me. Big love for the original Bioshock, regardless of its ridiculous flaws. Funnily enough, Bioshock had some similar problems to Wrath raiding, and then everything was basically too easy. But hey, there you go. And then people are going to cry, oh, you haven't done heroic Lich King. Yes, but again, the best way to compare it is Bioshock. If 95% of your content is too easy, does that mean the 5% of it that's the right difficulty level, or indeed challenging, makes the other 95% of the game okay? No, it doesn't. Come on, get that into your head, folks. You don't have to have done all the content to realize that the majority of it wasn't all that great. This, on the other hand, is. This is the wonderful thing about Cataclysm. They've learned so many lessons. It's blindingly obvious that they've learned so many lessons. I did some of the raid content in the beta, and it was good. And I've done the heroic content, and most of that is good. And the questing content is good. It's difficult to argue with me on that point when Blizzard themselves are blatantly showing, through doing, I might, and through actions rather than words, that this is the way they want to go with the game now, and that they've made a lot of changes from Wrath. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, folks. Why would you not want better content? Everybody wants better content. That's why people criticize Blizzard to begin with, because they want the game to be better, because they know Blizzard can be better. I mean, this is still really fun. This is enjoyable. I like the little gimmick with the torching of the tents, and also the marshal we need to kill is actually over there. And I also appreciate what they're doing with the named mobs. They are trying to make things just a little bit more interesting. They're throwing abilities in there. They're making the named mobs a bit tougher than you would otherwise expect. Whereas in previous expansions, even all the way through to Vanilla as well, Vanilla had a similar problem with many mobs, that the named mobs just didn't do anything. They were the same as the other guys, so you just beat on them and killed them. There's two named mobs that I'm going to show you in this video. The one that we've got coming up right here is the Marshal, and then we have another guy who is up on the water wheel. You've got to travel all the way up to the water wheel, again, fight through a gauntlet of mobs in order to get access to the war apparatus that we need for the Dream of a Better Tomorrow quest, and that quest mob is awesome. He is for a quest, apparently, but it didn't make a blimey difference. He had a little bit of a quest icon above him, and I didn't get any credit for it. I assume it's for some other quest that I haven't got yet. You see this guy right here, not only does he have cool items, but he actually does try and heal himself. It's not much of a challenge, but that doesn't matter, because at least you have the feeling the named mob is doing something different to the other guys. That's the vital thing. Will you stop pestering me? I'm trying to read this. Burn after reading, they say. The Alliance have never been known for efficiency, let's be honest. Incredibly efficient crybabies, I tend to find, especially when it comes to whining about imbalance in Battlegrounds. Herp-de-derp, now I've just alienated half my audience. It's really fun, isn't it? In my experience, it's genuinely the best way to find out who amongst your audience is too easily offended for their own good. Oh, why are you hating on Alliance so much? I'm personally offended. My imaginary video game faction. It is something I'll never really understand, especially considering the amount of complaints that we often see on the forums, particularly during Wrath, that there was too much cooperation between the Alliance and Horde. Hell, TBC had similar problems, although it did alleviate it somewhat by putting PvP objectives in every single zone, which is something Wrath obviously didn't do, and there was a ton of cooperation between the Alliance and Horde in Wrath, and people didn't like it. Indeed, this cropped up in a recent dev chat, sponsored by Best Buy. It was one of the most insipid things I've actually read all month. It was really bad. Those of you who listened to my recent Blue Please episode will know I went on for 45 minutes about this freaking thing and how terrible it was. All I could say is if this is what happens when major big box electronics corporations sponsor dev chats, please never ever do it again. It didn't benefit the player base in any way, shape, or form. It was a simple exercise in money grubbing from a partner, which I don't really approve of. If it doesn't somehow improve the dev chat, which it certainly didn't, it actually made it worse, then why even do it? Anyway, the point of the fact is that even in that dev chat, Blizzard said, look, this is World of Warcraft, not World of Peacecraft, and then there was a badum-tish in the background, and everyone sort of sprang up in canned laughter, and there was a rapturous applause, a standing ovation, and then candy was thrown out to the small children in the audience, things like that. But honestly, why is it that people ask for that and then suddenly get all offended when people get into the spirit of the whole thing and actually have some Alliance versus Horde animosity? I don't get it. It's just banter. That's all it is. It's people getting into the spirit of the game. They don't mean it. It's like saying, oh, how dare you hate on Team Blue when playing Team Fortress 2. I mean, come off it. Really? It's just banter. That's all it is. It's a bit of trash talking. It's entirely harmless. Just get over it, for God's sake. it's nice that the Alliance and Horde have a different kind of identity. You don't want them to be homogenous. That's the worst kind of thing. People losing the identity that they have within MMOs is actually a terrible idea. It's horrible. Anyway, back to the questing. We are looking for these things. I was staring around all over the place, and here's a pro tip for you if you're looking for these. They're often on elevated positions out of general view, which makes them a little bit tricky to find. In this case, we've got one right there, and we do have a few others. One of them is going to involve us traveling a whole lot. Now, for some reason, I'm stuck in combat here. Not really sure why. I think it's just because of the proximity to the mobs. I did get fighting. They don't actively attack you, as far as I can tell. They're too busy battling with the NPCs, but if you get into a fight around here, even if you clear out your guys, you'll generally get stuck in combat, which is a tad irritating. Thankfully, I'm a shaman, I have Ghost Wolf, it's wonderful! Not that I'd really want to use it most of the time, because obviously Ghost Wolf is not as quick as the mount, but hey. Alright, we're looking for the third component of this, which should be hidden around here somewhere, I would imagine. Like I say, the little quest helper thing that you get in the UI is fairly accurate, but sort of like a GPS, it's not going to give you the exact area, just the rough area around that. You'll be directed into the area you need to be, and then, of course, you're going to have to discover the damn thing. Once again, they tend to be hidden in elevated positions. Huh, what's this? Ooh, a group quest. Wonderful. It's been so long since I've done one of these. And in a low-level zone, no less. An elite mob is hiding. It's a giant fish. We shall battle. Oh, yes. I think I can do it. I'm a shaman, right? Although, oddly enough, I think this quest starts to bug out, and I'm not really sure what exactly happens there. I can't get a range there. I'll have to deploy my totems in the water. It's great to see a group quest in such a low-level zone. More of that, please. What's wrong with cooperating with players? Hell, it's a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, so I've been told, and the very essence of that is to battle giant fish. And if it's not, then it should be. That's an ugly bastard, isn't it? Okay, let's take it out. A little bit of lightning bolt as it comes in. Now let's twat it with everything we can possibly imagine. Look at the damage. This is weird. I want to show you the debuff that's on this thing in a second. And I don't really know what's there. It's taking damage from invisible fish. I'm fairly sure that's supposed to be on me, not on him. I don't know if that's some ability that's just bugged out, but apparently he can bite himself. He then runs away doing nothing whatsoever and dies from dots. Yeah. Apparently this was not resolved in the beta and probably should have been. Oh well. So you get his tooth from there, and he also drops a green, as far as I can tell. Not too bad at all. Nice to have a little bit of a diversion. Now, we were looking for those pots, so let me zoom ahead and show you exactly where they are. There you go, it's right there next to the pool. Just go up all the way up here. As to why they're hiding them in these places, Lord knows. Now, the final piece is a little trickier to get to. You've got to get to the top of the water wheel. There is no way up there, so you're going to have to go all the way round. So I'm going to skip me being an idiot. Well, it's been 5 years since I've been here. I thought they made him put an elevator there or something. Apparently not. Oh well. Let's try that again, shall we? Here's the best way up for you, ladies and gentlemen. You just saw the map right there. Just head all the way around here. There is a path through the mountains, which will take you to the top of the water wheel. However, getting access to the BD mechanism or whatever is not as easy as it sounds. You're going to have to fight your way through a gauntlet of enemies, which, as an enhancement shaman, is crazy good fun, because they just keep coming at you, and you keep carving them down, and you laugh as you slaughter, and you give skulls for the skull throne. Wrong game, never mind. Right, choppy choppy. There we go. I love the animations as well. It helps that I've got graphics on absolute maximum right here, so the effects are pretty good. You know, like I say, WoW is still not the best looking game in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still fun just to wave those axes and just see trails through there. It's a little bit of Soul Calibur going on right there. I remember playing the original Soul Calibur and being amazed by the weapon trails. They were so much better than Soul Blade on the PlayStation. And it was just, ooh, this is so awesome! And obviously it's become a bit generic through the years, but hey. Now that was my teenage years. Later on in my teenage years, my Dreamcast. It was my second console, actually. I never really had consoles. I was always a PC person up until I got a Sega Saturn, and then I got a Sega Dreamcast for Christmas. And then the fun began. Oh yeah, just carve your way through this little lot. You might need to use a healing surge, but it's not really all that likely. You just dump down a healing stream totem, that's usually good enough, but bear in mind, of course, you're going to have to keep stomping them as you go through this area, because you're going to have to keep moving. Respawn time on these guys is quite high. They do have a few abilities. They'll throw dynamite at you, and they will also spawn mini harvest reapers. They don't do a huge amount of damage either way, so you can slaughter them for the good of the land. At least we claim it's the good of the land. That's what the Horde propaganda claims. It's for the good of the land. I'm fairly sure we're not doing so well here. I mean, we are industrializing an area that was, oh yeah, previously boring. So that's totally reasonable. Reminds me of Sacrifice. I am basically fighting for the god Pyro right here. I'm bringing progress to the mountains. Yes. Damn Persephone, such a wimp. Now we're almost there. However, the apparatus is being guarded by a dangerous gnome. Yes, they do exist. It's odd, I realize. Oh, just bang, smack, wallop. How entertaining is that? I love this class. Okay, right, this guy actually has quite a lot of HP, and he does some fancy stuff. Apparently he's some kind of quest mob. He's some kind of leper gnome. Now watch what he'll do right here. He's actually going to put a little thing on the ground, then he's going to throw a bomb, which does a massive amount of damage. You do not want to be hit by that, because you can see I was sort of standing on the edge of it, and it hit me really hard. He'll also summon some adds as well. I really appreciate these little mini boss fight encounters that you go into. It's wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. I want to see more of that. In low-level zones, what a great idea to get people used to the idea that, yes, you have to not stand in the fire, in this case, the big gnomish bombs. Right. Well, we have the helmet. That means we have done everything right here. It's all sorted. This is going to be a nice hand-in, I think. So let's take the most direct route off of this. There we go. Much better. Awesome. Now, it's going to take us a little bit of time to ride back up there, so I'm just going to skip it for you. You should know the direction by now. It's not really hard. You can see it off in the distance. There you go. You just need to be over there. So, Wonder Twin powers activate. Form of minor editing techniques. Now, I know what you want to see. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you high and dry. A great culmination of the quests right here, and they do get better. And like I say, the quests in this area are so much fun. Listen to me. Why would I say something like that? I hate questing. I actually do not like questing at all. And yet, somehow Blizzard's made it varied enough and entertaining enough to have me get some enjoyment out of it instead of just slogging through it. You know, you might say, oh, well, I'm just doing this for work. And that's true. You know, I'm doing it as my job, but I'm actually enjoying it as well, which is even better. And I'm fairly sure against some kind of great cosmic law when it comes to work, but there you go. Nice bit of a hand in right here. Some reasonable gear is available. Like I said, I did get a neck piece upgrade and also get a ring upgrade from here. The vest is pretty much identical to what I already have, so we're not going to be finding any upgrades right there. Level 27. Oh, yes. New talent point is available. We can spend that in something at some point when I get around to it. You'll also notice that we dinged up to level 26. I'm running on an awful lot of rested experience here, as you might imagine. So this is going a little bit quicker than you would expect. But yeah, we got Frostbrand weapon, which apparently is very nice, and I'll go back to Orgrimmar at some point to train that. And we can, of course, use the Quartermaster to sell a bunch of junk. Now, usually, me selling junk is a video only available to my special Platinum Premium Club subscribers. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a bone. I'm going to throw you that bone. It's going to hit you in the head. You're going to say, hi, why the hell are you throwing bones at me, you moron? And I'll show you me selling junk. Isn't it exciting? And my ill-gotten gains down the bottom that I begged from various Twitter followers. I still feel a little bit dirty about that, but I actually am okay with it. Overall, I will get over the mental anguish of the whole affair. Right, you creepy little girl. Mr. D is so sad. We need to make him happy. Yay, Mr. D. Mr. D just needs an angel to help him navigate. Will you be that angel, mister? Yeah. The references. Now, you might think that this is going to be boring. It's not. The way that they've done this is awesome. The way that they actually handle the weapons. You've got 3 weapons. You've got Incinerate, Freezing Beam, and you also have a giant magnet, which will handily pull in gnomes. Yes, indeed, a gnomish magnet. Wunderbar. Right. Let's go and find the battling. You saw it earlier on, the gnomish pounder bots and the gnomish engineers. Nothing better to finish off a video with some good old-fashioned gnome genocide. Let's find something. There we go, there's the freezing beam. The way that this handles is really great and responsive. I expected this to be janky as all hell. It's not! It reminds me hell of a little bit of an FPS. You know, the aiming is perfect. You can just do that. Look at it. Look at how fun this is. Look at how awesome this is. It's brilliant. It really is awesome. Oh, vehicle quests up to this point have often been really awkward and awful to control, but this handles like a third-person shooter. Yay! Did you see that? Just grabbing the gnomes. I even managed to grab some frozen gnomes, just to make matters even worse. Now, what you can do is you can throw these by pressing the 3 button once again. So, we're going to try and aim them in the general direction. Boom! There you go! Into the stratosphere. Oh, yeah. Everyone should do this quest, because it is so much fun. It's gimmicky as hell, but I don't care. Because not only do you get to do my favorite pastime, which is the slaughter of gnomes, you get to do it in a very enjoyable fashion. Okay, we have some... Let's magnetize some more gnomes in right here. Woohoo! Oh, yeah. This is gnome punting in its most advanced form, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you used to kick them. Now you can fire them off with a giant electromagnet. And why not? Oh, wow, so one of them just got a saw blade stuck in it. Oh, yes, just brilliant, absolutely genius. It is delicious. Anyone for some barbecued gnome? I heard they go very, very well on kebabs, actually. They're just the right size. I fancy some gnomish kebabs now. So yes, that is the Large Daddy Bioshock quest, ladies and gentlemen, and there is a lot more to come. I'll be continuing with this particular series. I think people do seem to like it. I was concerned that nobody would watch it, because, hey, they can do it already, but by the looks of it, that is not materialized. People are really wanting to see this, so cool. Totally fine. I'll happily play the entire goddamn game if that's what you want me to do. All over that. Okay, we can hand that one in. I like the reference, actually, from this guy. We need to disembark before we can actually hand it in, unfortunately. I'm going to talk to this guy. Read the quest text right here. I'm lost for words. I'm really not sure where Clarissa even came from. Here, have some ice cream. Oh, wow. My name is TotalBiscuit, and I will see you next time.